sai, fui dar meu coração com toda força pra essa moça me fazer feliz. Eu disse outra vez, me ver como raiz de uma flor de lis, e fui assim.
Town manager for the town of Bonsall, and on behalf of the town I want to welcome you here today to celebrate two events. And we'll get into those in just a second, but I want to recognize a couple of folks that are here that help me daily. And that's Mark Ells, who's my assistant town manager, is over here. And councilors Rap Grassetti and Jessica Rap Grassetti and June Daly are in the audience, and we thank them for their participation. You know, normally when we go through this, we introduce the dignitaries and go through their remarks, but I'd like to start off with a round of applause for our cultural partners. It's Elizabeth Worthbane from the BID, who was very instrumental in helping and keeping this all together and helping to distribute brochures. Jessica Silver, who is with the Hyannis Area Chamber of Commerce and does an awful lot, for us, and is one of our great partners. We have Roberta Miller here, who's the Executive Director of the Cape Cod Art Association. Our own Melissa Hirsch, who's with Arts and Cultures and has put this event together. And her boss, Joanne Miller-Buntich, who has really embraced the whole idea that cultural activities are such an important part of our economic, partnership and our economic plan. So they're all here. If we get a round of applause for all of them. I noticed Joanne's staff was applauding particularly loudly. I'm going to try to focus on you today and keep your attention toward me when I'm speaking, because the Bonsall Patriot ran a wonderful picture of me the other day when we had a nice event down there at the harbor when we were announcing the no discharge zone, and I was looking this way, and everyone who was going to speak was looking that way. So, and those happen to be the same councils that are here, councils and state representatives and such. But I'm going to call up Senator Dan Wolf first to say a few remarks. You know, we have, as part of our cultural district, we have the Hyannis, the High Arts District, and that's what this is, the big part of the cultural district. And we have statistics that show that since we opened that in the year 2005, that there have been over $900,000 in sales that have gone out of the shanties down on, Bismarck Park. And that shows that emerging artists and artists who are, don't have another retail outlet have been able to help to make a living. And someone who knows about sales and how to make a living is our own Dan Wolf. Senator?
There is nothing more important relative to defining who we are as a community and where we want to be going forward than the cultural, historic aspects of this community. And I am so blessed to be part of a group of leaders here that really get it. I see Kevin Howard from the Arts Foundation of Cape Cod, the arts organization for Barnstable County, who gets it. Tom Lynch, our town manager, gets it. Mark Ells gets it. Who else is here that I haven't mentioned? Elizabeth Worthbane, the Chamber of Commerce here, get it. We are all coming together around defining this community today, but also more importantly for tomorrow. As I said, I have two children. I have three daughters, but two of them, their lives have been changed by the arts and culture that is available in our community. In their case, it's performing arts, stage, theater. But the visual arts that we have, the musicians that we have in our community, those who are celebrating the beauty of the environment that we live in, all get that how we want to define ourselves and how we want to build our economy going forward is around our creative intellect and around the environment that we live in. And it all comes together around arts and culture. So I am so proud today to be a part of the unveiling of literally the next step here in Hyannis. Relative to building this community around that part of who we are that is so smart and so creative and so wonderful and so beautiful. It is a gift not only to this generation but to future generations. So Tom, I want to thank you for the incredible job you're doing as our town manager. Not that you're new to the area, but you are new to the job and you're just doing a spectacular job so far. And of course, I would be remiss if I didn't do a shout out to Tom Kerr, who is standing here, if we're going to enjoy and celebrate the arts and culture in this region, we need to be able to get to and from those venues. And so, Tom, thank you for all of that great work you do. And I'm going to do a shout out too on the political end, because I know you were going to, but I'm here and I work with these guys every day. Cleon Turner, raise your hand. Cleon and I commute, when we're in session, commute almost daily to and from the State House. So I started out as a very conservative state senator, but Cleon has ever so subtly shifted me a little bit further and further to the left. It's been a great partnership, and thank you for all you do. And then to his immediate right, strategically placed, Randy Hunt, who has been doing a fantastic job. And to show how bipartisan we are, Randy has been a great partner in a lot of initiatives, arts and culture being an important one to all of us, so thank you. And then to his immediate right, Stephanie Cox, who is here representing Congressman Bill Keating, who also ran my campaign 2 years ago, so she's really responsible for why I'm standing here today. But Stephanie, thank you so much. Thank you all for being a part of this, and thank you for participating.
Mary Jenkins has been a partner. We've talked about local partners and our state legislative partners, many of whom are going to speak in a minute. But Mary Jenkins is the individual who has really helped shepherd us through this cultural designation process. And she came down several times, worked with growth management staff, and really helped us put together our application that made us the 6th cultural district in the Commonwealth. And Mary, I'd like you to come up and explain the program and tell us a little bit about what you thought of our application.
Perfect day to be in Hyannis. So, my name is Mary Jenkins, and it's my great honor to run 2 programs at the Massachusetts Cultural Council, we are the state arts agency that support and fund organizations all across the state, artists all across the state. And right here today in Hyannis, we are celebrating the development of the 6th cultural district through the Cultural Districts Initiative that we launched more than a year ago. And I couldn't be prouder of the work that's actually been done here. And the way that the town has really stepped up, the town of Barnstable, the people who work in the various departments there have really stepped behind this program. They seed fund, they move behind this through another program I run called the Adams Arts Program for the Creative Economy, and really kind of rolled their sleeves up around how you approach the intersection of arts, culture, and economic and community development. And in doing that, I think they learned a great deal. They really gained in experience. They brought together an incredible partnership, and they have been persistent and tenacious in terms of moving this strategy forward. And as a consequence, some of the things you see here in Hyannis today are a result of that. So what that's done is build an incredible foundation for them to build on as they go forward through this sort of designation process. The designation lasts for 5 years, and we've made it very simple for them to basically say, we want to continue, we want this to be a 10, 15-year, 20-year process. This designation at this point doesn't involve any money, but it's an important beginning in terms of bringing a variety of stakeholders who are invested in the economic future of this community. And that's an important statement for a community like this to make. It's also, tomorrow I come back to Cape Cod to visit with the folks in Sandwich, which are the 2nd community on Cape Cod who are seeking a designation. And I'm hoping there are many more Cape Cod communities that will follow. This is a very important region to the state in terms of tourism and in terms of its economy. This would not happen without the leadership of our legislature, and I'm very grateful to them for being so supportive of the work we've done and helping find some funds for some of the other programs we do. And we're hoping in the future to be able to incentivize this program so that you're able to not only walk this agenda, you can run with it, which is really what we'd like to see here, so that more people will be drawn to Hyannis. They'll spend a lot more money, they'll stay longer, it'll be a 4-season community, It'll provide incredible programs for the residents that live here and the people that borrow this community when they come down here to stay for during the summer season. And all of that adds up to something I think that makes a community incredibly dynamic. It's the backdrop of the arts and culture and the wherewithal for us to actually find experiences in a place that really help us to understand what it was and importantly what it is today. Ron Howard is the director of the Arts Foundation of Cape Cod, is actually an MCC board member, and if you don't mind, I'd just like to invite him up to say a couple of things.
Ron is my brother.
This is Kevin Howard.
Thanks, Mary. I was just thinking how difficult we've made it for the Duckmobile. Because they've had to change their entire script, because Hyannis is now an arts-driven town with this wonderful arts district. I was honored last year, right around this time, to be appointed to the Massachusetts Cultural Council as a director. And I was so proud to be in the room when they voted on Hyannis as the High Arts District as a cultural district, the first on the Cape. And one of the things that was retold at that meeting was about how so many of community associations right here came together, and Tom talked about all of them. But this was really a community effort. Of course, it starts with the vision that the town of Barnstable had 5 or 6 years ago to really decide that their economic development and their economic future was dependent on establishing themselves as a cultural destination. And I think they've done a wonderful job with the artist community here on Pearl Street, with the JFK Museum, the Legacy Trail. It's really an amazing thing. So again, very proud. And I was thinking the other day, you know, we had this little concert over on the Village Green with the Boston Pops. And I was thinking to myself, what better place to have that concert than in the middle of this wonderful arts district. So congratulations.
I want to thank Kevin for that. But I also realized that I wanted to do a shout out to the artists who make Hyannis home, or make this region their home. And this backdrop behind me is only sort of a slice of actually the work that's available here. What I like about the strategy that the town developed is that it also is intended to create revenue for the artists that produce this kind of work. And I just want to make sure that they, that the message from the Mass Cultural Council is that we absolutely support your presence in all our communities. None of this would be possible without the organizations and artists that we are so supportive of and that we are so keen to continue to support. So thank you very much.
We've been joined by Councillor Dagwan. Councillor Dagwan is the Hyannis Town Councillor. She, picking up on Kevin's suggestion about the duck boat, and she's introduced an ordinance instead of quack, quack, quack when they go through the arts district. They have to shout art, art, art. So that's what it's going to work for. We do have Sarah Hall's art that is here. Sarah, you want to give a wave? Terrific. Thank you very much. She's a resident artist now at the end of the street. I also want to thank Marsha and John for their music. It was very nice earlier today. There they are over here. Thank you very much. I'd like to introduce State Representative Hunt. You know, he is, we mentioned Tom Care with the transportation, the free trolley service that we have going back and forth. And we average about 9,000 trips from that trolley service that goes back and forth. And that's something that we can be proud of. I'd like to have Representative Hunt come up and say a few words.
Thank you very much, Tom. One of the things, thank you for the shout out, by the way. Senator, actually Dan Wolf is a senator, I'm a state representative. We did have the opportunity to ride together out to freshman legislator training at UMass out in Amherst. And as I recall that trip, it was about, what, 22 hours each way, I'm pretty sure. No, but we, left, right, conservative, liberal, we work on a lot of things. In fact, most of the stuff that we do is just good policy, and that's what we work on. And this is part of that. And the effort that's been made here is extraordinary, and I congratulate everybody for having taken a part in having this designation here in Hyannis. It's wonderful for Hyannis. Sandwich is the town that I live in, although I do represent part of Barnstable as well. Has an application in the works. And on my way down here, I was talking with the chairman of the Arts and Cultural Committee on Beacon Hill, Sarah Peak from Provincetown. And I asked her if there was anything, because she couldn't be here today, that she wanted me to convey. And she said, the newsletter that Wendy Northcross sent out, I think it came out yesterday in the email, that talked about a number of improvements for small businesses in the fair share contribution and some of the things that go around in all the audits that, as a CPA, a number of my clients have been audited, and they have seen how onerous some of this legislation was. We fixed a lot of that, and she does a great job in that newsletter explaining how some of those rules have been relaxed, and that improves the situation for small businesses. And small businesses are at the heart of our arts and cultural economy here on Cape Cod. So that's important to us. And one other thing that she mentioned, and this raised a hair on the back of my neck too, was the independent contractor law was changed, and I recall it was back around 2005 or 2006. And it's made it very difficult for independent artists, musicians, to be able to function in a way that is independent of the businesses that they work for. And we didn't get that change made that we needed to make this session, but we are going to double up on that and try and make sure that we do the right thing for independent contractors so they can return to normalcy and establish the real relationship between somebody who is paying an artist and the artist receiving that money. It's very important for us. And one last thing that I'll mention is, although we have these now the first on Cape, and soon to be followed by several others, this designation, one of the things that we really want to do is to make available to districts that have this designation some funding so that there is some money that goes behind the fact that we have this designation. Very important. I see Marcia King out there, and she understands how important it is to be able to get grants for doing projects. And that's one of the things that Sarah Peak and I talked about was, out, maybe not a line item in the budget, but maybe out of some of the new initiatives that we put in the jobs creation bill that we just passed, we may be able to get some funding along that forum so that we could have something that's tangible that would operate, only for those districts that have this designation around the state. So we have a lot to do. You've done a lot. You're to be congratulated for it. And thank you very much. I'm just happy to be here. By the way, I'm dressed as a tourist today, so I'm ready to enjoy the 1.6 mile trail. Thank you very much.
Randy may not be an artist, but he's singing our song when it comes to funding, so we certainly appreciate that. The signage that you see over here is representing the Hyannis High Arts Cultural District. Is a standardized shape that the districts use. That'll be placed strategically, in our community to alert people that we're a cultural district. We're also on the statewide website, so it makes us a destination. In addition to the cultural trail, and I should point out that over the years we've attracted over 27,000 people to our concerts that we have down at Azleton Park that Melissa Hirsch and company put together. It's not the 15,000 we get in one day over here for the Pops concert, but it shows that we have an ongoing level of entertainment and participation. In addition to the Cultural Arts District, we started on and had a soft opening on May 29th, President Kennedy's birthday. We had a soft opening for our Kennedy Legacy Trail. Since that time, we've had, let's see here, to our website, we've had 3,264 page views. We've had over 4,500 visits since January. We're averaging about between 700 and 1,000 hits a month of folks looking on that to help participate or figure out if they want to make the Kennedy Legacy Trail part of their Hyannis adventure. So what we have done now is, one part of that was that we spoke to Sturgis East Charter Public High School here. We represented today by Eric Heiser, who's over here, and also Jim Albert, who's very involved with the school as the operations director. And they gave us permission to put 2 photos on here that help as people start down the trail, that helps depict some of the images of the Kennedy family. We're speaking to them later today because on the post in between the two we want to put a picture of Taylor Swift. Added right to the whole cultural experience here. But we've also marked the trail now. I don't know, do you have a little sign on that? Maybe you can see this. This is, marked along the trail to show individuals where the trail goes and where there are junction points in terms of when they want to stop at the different interpretive signs that we have along the way. I don't know about, the business owners like Dave Colombo and Chad Doe have joined us, but, what I've noticed on Main Street is more and more individuals are using their smartphones to get information and to, be planning their vacation trip. And that's what we tried to do with the Kennedy Legacy Trail. We use the QR codes. We give, in the brochure that we have that's been distributed, we have the directions how someone can download how the app that allows them to read the QR code. So we can be changing the content that we have at each of the sites, for whether it's President Kennedy's inauguration address, whether it's something from Sergeant Shriver on when they get to the Peace Corps stop, whether it's something that talks about the things and events that happened at St. Francis Xavier Church. We can rotate and change that information. So the Kennedy Legacy Trail thus far has been, a clear hit for us, and someone who I think embodies the legislative and congressional spirit that President Kennedy had exhibited. As Cleon Turner was mentioned earlier, and I'd like to have him say a few words about the Legacy Trail as a cultural district in general.
Thank you. And it is an honor to be here, to be able to say something about this great event in a town that I now represent a part of. So I'm hoping that this will be the first of many cultural districts on Cape Cod. I'm picturing cultural districts from Sandwich to West Barnstable, Yarmouth Port, all the way to Orleans on that side of town, and all along 28 and other areas on this side of town as well, that this be only the first. And just so you all know, this beautiful symbol that shows the way, Tom didn't mention, is painted on the sidewalk all the way. So the folks who are wanting to follow that trail simply need to follow this along the sidewalk. So again, anybody who's been on Cape Cod for more than a day or two knows what the cultural legacy of Cape Cod is and how important art and culture, all of the arts, are to Cape Cod. So just once again, make it short, is that, again, I'm looking forward to other areas in Barnstable and all over the Cape Cod being cultural districts that we can all visit, and having our transportation system getting us from one to the other. Thank you.
As I wrap up this event here, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that, we were, as a Gateway City, we were one of the recipients of the Gateway Cities grant of $50,000. They allowed us to use that as for a linear trail, And that's what this, the Kennedy Legacy Trail is. And we use that funding and the good works of Kate Kennan, who has done many projects for us, to get the interpretive signs and to get the trail established and to put all the documentation that we needed down. And you know, everyone has been assisted as you go on to these sites and look at, see some of the videos and see some of the things that have been compiled. Tom Chartrand, who's over there, who does that for a living, has really helped us present a very professional image to this trail. So with that, with all those, with that in mind, I would say that we had invited the Hyannis Library to come over. They actually have a cultural event going on as we speak. There's an author who has written a book recently and is there as we speak right now, and it's, let's see, Tom Cardy, McCarty, who wrote the Vatican Conspiracy. So we have events like that going on all the time. There's a full agenda this week. We hope you take advantage of it, and I thank you one and all for coming and participating in today's event. Thank you.